Howdy guys, Jake here. We want to talk about grinder pumps today. We want to talk about different styles, different reasons why you do different pumps, and which pump is actually better. It depends on the collection system, and what I mean by collection system. The water leaving your house goes into a small tank, 55 gallons, 100 gallons in size. Inside that tank is one of these pumps. These pumps then take that water, grind it, pump it up out of that station through a collection system of pipes. Those pipes can vary in size depending upon the engineer that then take it to the treatment facility or lagoon. The problem is that the developer and the engineer are the people in charge of dictating what size these pipes are throughout the whole collection system. And as a developer, if you use a high pressure style pump, you can use smaller pipes. Smaller pipes means less expensive, meaning you can get lower develop costs, lower lot cost, and you can overall have a cheaper house cost, which everybody wants. That's the beauty of running this style pump. I'm going to explain to you the reason why using the wrong style pump with that type small pipe collection system isn't good and why it can tear something up. So what's wrong with this pump? Nothing. This pump is awesome. This pump will eat. Here's your motor. Inside of here is a boat propeller basically spinning that water really fast. It uses centrifugal force to take this water up and out of that pump. Before then, it grinds it with a cheese grater style grinder down here on the bottom and tears stuff up. Here's the problem with this style pump. It will eat any rag that you throw at it. The problem is that it's got to be spinning really fast before it starts to eat that rag. This pump is not designed to start up with a lot of low-end torque. Think about the difference between a real fast little sports car, low weight, able to go really, really fast, versus a big diesel truck that's got just a lot of low-end torque, a big semi that's designed to move a lot of weight slowly over that distance. This is more of your Ferrari. It's real quick. It's got to spin super fast. So if there's a rag already lodged in here, meaning that this float, when the water comes in, it raises this float, it turns your pump on. If the water level's still going down as it's grinding up that rag, and boom, your pump turns off, but there's still a rag in its teeth. This pump doesn't have the torque, that low-end power to turn that rag and pump at the same time, meaning this pump's going to be locked up and it's going to sit down there and hum. It's going to turn into an oversized heater and it's not going to be pumping your water out and you're going to have a problem. This pump is a high flow, 20, 30, 40 gallons per minute at a low PSI, 20, 30, 40 PSI pushing this water out. So if you've got real small pipes and it's trying to push water and it's designed for low pressure, high volume, this pump is not going to push through those pipes. It will do it a few times, but it's going to get harder on the pump and harder on the pump because you're making it work at its max every single time it turns on. It's trying to push against that every single time. So let's talk about a different style pump. This is our flagship. This is the E1 pump. Has a lot of things going for it. For one, it only uses a 1 horsepower. You're thinking, that's crazy. I want the 2 horsepower. I want more power. No. It can do everything with this 1 horsepower pump because look at the difference here. This is its pumping section of the pump. This is its pumping section of the pump. It's a progressive cavity pump, meaning it's got a worm like a screw. Think of a screw screwing that up through a rubber diaphragm in there that makes that get smaller and smaller and smaller, pressurized, and it can generate up to 140 psi coming out of this hose. A ton of pressure when you're talking about a grinder pump. Now it's low flow. It's like that big diesel. It's not going anywhere fast. It's a slow process, but it does it really well and it does it consistently with a lot of power behind it. So if there's small pipes, look at the difference between the two right here. 2 inch, look at that small. Look how small that is. It's pushing all of those solids through that small hole with a ton of pressure. A few other things to think about is because it's not having to sling that water really fast, this pump, we're going to go ahead and turn it over. This pump, very heavy, can have a rag, 2 rags, 3 rags. Look at this grinding surface versus this grinding surface. Look at the size there. Look at the size, so almost double, maybe triple the size. It can handle several rags down here, and since it doesn't need to sling that water really fast, it can start up real slow with a high amount of torque and continue chewing those rags up. Now, is it going to obliterate a rag the same way this one does as fast? Absolutely not. It's not designed to. It's designed to keep pumping whether it's got a rag down here or not, and keep these teeth clean so it can get to the water to do its job to keep on working. Now, do I recommend putting any kind of wet wipes or rags down any of these? No, but it's going to happen. You're going to get it, and you want the pump that's going to be able to handle it. The other cool thing about this pump is it doesn't use floats. It has air pressure tubes inside right here that sense the pressure. When the water comes up to here, it turns on. When it goes down to here, it cuts off, using pressure sensors inside the top of the pump. So a lot of times why other contractors don't like to use this style pump, because it's different than just changing out a float. It takes someone who's trained by E1 to work on these. But if you have a distribution, if you have a collection system with small pipes that needs a high pressure pump, large grinding surface here, this is your pump. This is your only pump. If you replace it with this pump, it'll work, but not very long. It's not designed to work long term. This thing is a heavy hitter, real fast hitter. This guy's a slow giant that's just doing its job day in and day out with great warranties. I assure you this is the way you want to go if you've got that style collection system. Another thing to note is this flexible discharge line here. This is a base stable pump, meaning I can put this pump down the bottom of a basin. It doesn't need any other kind of support to support it. It's got a flexible discharge line. These pumps are designed to have a solid pipe, schedule 80, that comes up and goes out to support this pump when it runs. If you use, some people will swap these. They'll take out this style pump because they don't want to work on it or don't know how, and they'll put this style, they'll use our same flex hose on this pump. What are you going to get? Look how easy it is. I mean, I'm just barely pushing on this really heavy pump. What do you think happens when this thing starts chewing on a rag? It sits down there and shakes in the bottom. It's going to turn over quick, and you're going to have a lot of issues quick with this style pump. So that's the difference. Is this a bad pump? Absolutely not. Is this a bad pump? Absolutely not. Both are equal. You just got to put them in their correct places, not use them in the wrong style application. Both will work great for you no matter what you're doing. If you're looking for a long life pump that's going to be that big giant, slow giant for you, it's the E1. Thanks, guys.